So, good evening. I'm Sarah
Good
Ruffi,
evening.
and this is the Woman Warrior Lawyer podcast. And tonight, my guest is one of my favorite people ever. It's Ezi, and she is from Porto Alegre, Brazil. But she was one of our first exchange students and became part of our family 10 years ago. So, Ezi, how about if you do a brief introduction, let us know your name, and I already said you from Porto Alegre, Brazil, but just let us know about your family and what you do for a living.
Okay. So first of all, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
So my name actually is Ezi Monteiro Barrato, which is right a lot of words and not so easy to speak. So I always go by Ezi since I was just like a teenager, basically. I actually never liked my name. Here in Brazil, it's very unusual. So I don't know any other Ezimara here. So which is nice, but it doesn't work for me. So just Ezi is fine. I'm 29 years old, and I have a baby boy. He's 1 year old, and I still don't have a husband. But my boyfriend and fiance is named Diego, and yeah, that's it. Pretty much, we are a small family, but we are very happy. I work in the IT business. Actually, I am a database programmer at Dell Technologies, and that's it, I guess. My brief introduction for you.
Your brief introduction for me. So, how did you decide you wanted to become a database programmer?
Man, I was thinking about that yesterday when I was kind of getting ready for this conversation with you, and I finished high school when I was 15 years old, so I never knew actually what I wanted to do. And in one conversation with someone else, I pretty much decided, and it kind of worked, but it didn't work as well because I don't know if that's what I was supposed to do, but I just gave my heart and started working with this. So ever since my first job, I worked with database programming, right? So the thing is, the IT field is very large, so there are a lot of things that you could do, but I just I don't know. I just started with database programming and I never tried anything else. So that's it. But my major, I decided in one conversation with someone from my sister's family, not my sister's family, but like her husband's family, right? His sister was in college at the time, studying the same course that I did, and I didn't know what I was gonna do, right? Because I was still like pretty young, and I lived in another city. It was a very small town, and I just didn't have a lot of perspective, and I did not have a lot of people that I could talk to. So I just came to Porto Alegre to talk to my sister and to just be with family. And then I met her, and we started talking, and I was just like, I I like it, dealing with computer stuff, right? I had done some training, some courses, so I already knew some stuff, and I thought that that would be a good start at least, but I never tried anything else. So that's it. I mean, it was one conversation with someone whom I had met like once or twice in my life, and that's it. That's how I started.
And I know you studied computers up here in Wausau. How did you end up deciding that you wanted to leave Brazil and study in the United States and find your way to Wausau, Wisconsin?
So it was 2008, I guess, and I was studying here in Porto Alegre, and I had friends in college, and everything was going easy for me. And then my boyfriend at the time, he's now my husband, I guess. Um, he was wandering the halls in the college, and he just saw a flyer that showed, like, that was telling about this scholarship, and he really wanted to try, and I guess he believed in me, and he said that I should try. I should also try. I did not think that I was gonna get it, but just to, like, maybe shut him up, I said, okay, let me go and see what happens, right? So I did an English test. Everybody, right? We had like 50 spots, and I think 5 was for my region here in Brazil. So we went when we had this English test, and then we waited for, I think was like a few weeks, and then we had another English test. In the meantime, we were studying, like the program provided with books and stuff so that we could study for the next English test. And then we did that, and then after that process, we had an interview. So we met with the coordinators here in Brazil, and then we talked. It was an individual interview, right? So I just talked about my background and what I was studying in college and stuff like that. And then we had to wait for, I think it was like 4 months. So everybody, back in the day, we did not have Facebook, so we had another social media site, right? I don't know if you heard of it. It was Orkut. I don't know if it was big enough in US, but I mean, everybody in Brazil that was trying for this program was on that platform. So we just had a community, and we were just talking about how long it was taking for them to just process everything and get back to us. So I remember the day I was working in an internship here in Brazil, and I just went to my Gmail account and I saw an email, and then it was saying to me that I was approved and everything, and I was very, very excited about that, right? So that's pretty much the how can I say, the process before going to America, right? So I got the approval on April, and then I just had 2 months to get ready and have my passport done and go get my visa and stuff. And I left for US on June, I guess. So it was very new to me. Obviously, I had never even traveled abroad, but I guess maybe I should thank Diego, because he really believed in me, and I didn't. But when I was approved, then it was very, very hard for me to just process, because I had never been, pretty much, I think I never been out of state at that point, which was crazy. But that was it, I mean, and then I went to America and everything happened. It was just a dream come true.
And did you pick WASA, or did the program pick WASA for you?
Yeah, actually they sent out our college resumes here in Brazil to a couple of colleges in the US, right? All the colleges that had the program. So they decided, I mean, I know that there were like candidates in the program that were kind of picked by multiple colleges, and I think they got to decide where they should go. But I got picked by North Central Technical College in Wausau, and that was it. But it was a decision made by the colleges.
And when you first got, well, you hadn't seen snow before you got here, did you?
No, never.
What were your thoughts when you came from southern Brazil in June, which is your winter, right?
Right.
But your winter is still warm compared to
yes, true. Yeah.
And you came up here at the start of our summer.
Very hot, by the way.
Was it? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
What did you think you got yourself into? So,
like, weather-wise, first off, I thought it was pretty similar oh my god, pretty similar to Porto Alegre because it was hot, right? And I just remember one of the first weekends, I guess, uh, our coordinator took us to the square in Wassa. Uh, there was some kind of concerts going on. I don't remember the name of the. I think it was a festival or something. And I just remember sitting there and like sweating profusely. And I was thinking, what? I just left like Brazilian summer and then I came here. And obviously I knew that winter would come like in a few months. Like the first time that I got to experience your cold, it was really cold. And I kind of thought to myself, what am I going to do? Because we did not have cars or anything. We would have to ride the bus or go on foot to NTC. I actually lived pretty close to the college, so that wasn't a problem. So in the beginning of the winter, it was cold, but I kind of expected more. And then when it hit hard. So it was pretty, pretty hard. Actually, for me here in Brazil, whenever, like even in the summer, if I go to work, I always take a jacket with me. So everybody makes fun of me because it usually is pretty hot outside, and if I'm inside some place, I'm usually wearing a coat. And then when I was in Wisconsin, I mean, you bet I lived in coats, right? I had like gloves and warm socks, and I remember you gave me some packets that to put in the hands to make them warm. So I was that cold, you know. But like my experience with snow, I just remember Diego. He was in the program, but he was in New York, right? So he had flown to see me during, I think was maybe before Thanksgiving, but we went to Chicago in the car. And then I remember that in the way back to Wassa, I was sleeping, and then he had already seen snow before, but it started snowing, and then he just woke me up, and I was, what did you wake me for? And then he showed me outside, and I was, oh my god, it's just so magical, right? I mean, it is something that I wish we had here in Brazil. Actually, right now, I don't know why, but a few cities here in Brazil, they get snow. It's not like your snow. I mean, usually just a couple, a couple drops here and there, but they have it. But I really like it, to see snow and just to play with it. It was really good, really fun.
Well, and you had a bucket list when you came, or you had developed a bucket list while you were here. What were some of the things on your bucket list before you went back to Brazil?
Okay, so I think, how can I say, when I lived here in Brazil before I even got to come to Porto Alegre, I was born here, but I left when I was around 5 to go to another city, and then when I was 8, I went to another city here in Brazil. Let me just say to you that this city has 800 people living in it. So, I mean, I did not have much contact with other people, right? So I never really thought about how big the world was or what there were in the world to see. So I came here to Porto Alegre, and then I just started college and started dating, and then I got to see what else there was for me in the world. But I never had a lot of things that I wanted to do, or places that I wanted to visit, for instance. When I got to US, and then I realized that this place was amazing, and there were a lot of things, and it was so different from the place that that I grew up, right? Then I saw how much I was missing out when I did not come to US. So, for instance, I think that most of the things that I put on my bucket list were things that were presented to me by people, right? For instance, I never thought about skiing, right? And then you guys took me, and it wasn't on my bucket list, but if I could have put it, I would, because it's so fun. So seeing snow would be something that would be on my bucket list, and traveling, I got to travel a lot. I mean, I went to Disney on my birthday that is an experience that I will never forget. I mean, I guess just traveling around and getting to know people, and just, I don't know how to put it, but I don't know. I have done pretty much everything that I wanted to do. I still want to go places, don't get me wrong, but if I were to die today, I would die very happy because I got to do a lot of things that I never thought I would.
And I remember one of the things that you guys got to cross off your bucket list in May, right before you headed home,
Hmm.
was being outside in the snow in shorts.
Yeah, because I would never do that, like during your coldest months, like December or January. I would never do that because I don't know. I think I would just freeze. But like in May, when I saw snow in May, I thought, oh my God, how do they do it like every year? It's just so cold and a lot of snow. I mean, obviously, you guys are prepared for it, right? You would not be cold or anything, but it just amazes me that a place has snow when summer is coming.
It didn't last long though, did it?
Yeah, yeah, it was just a couple days, I guess. But I got to wear shorts in snow. That was fun.
So, what is one difficult experience from your past that turned out to be a blessing in disguise?
Oh man. I'm very fortunate that I did not have that many things that were that difficult for me. But like one thing that made me who I am today, I think it's not a bad thing. I mean, I think the worst thing that happened in my life, obviously, was my father passing away when he did, the way that he did. But I wouldn't say that it was a blessing in disguise, but it did help me become who I am today. Um, it is what it is, right? And nobody's gonna last forever. During the close to 17 years that he was here with me, it was really good. But we did have our differences, and it was hard. But I don't think I had that many things that were bad enough for me to tell you. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, right? I think one of the worst things maybe was being away from my family, but even that, when it happened, was good for me because it helped me grow up, I guess. Actually, everybody should have an experience like I did. I don't know. Did you have any kind of like not internship, but like, did you travel abroad or lived far away from your family and friends for a period of time?
When I was in high school,
Or,
I
or maybe, yeah, or
no,
high school or college?
I went to college 3 hours from home, and I didn't get to come home very much because I didn't have a car.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that was difficult, but it forces you to grow up, and
Yeah,
it helps you
it
when you
is.
realize how independent you can be and self-reliant.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
I think about when we found out about your dad and
Uh huh.
how all of a sudden you and Dwight kind of butted heads
Clicked. Yeah.
initially, and
Uh
then
huh.
the walls came tumbling down as you started talking about your dad
Uh
to
huh.
Dwight, who then kind of stepped in to
Uh
those
huh.
shoes for you.
Yeah.
So everything does happen for a reason, and our lives happen for us, not to us.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, all right, since you are 29 years old, and unlike my
Mhm.
children, recognize that you don't know everything yet,
Yeah.
what is the best piece of advice that you've received so far in your life?
I think not a lot of people have said that to me, but I think the first ones or the main ones would be you guys, right? I just admire you guys so much because you do not have, like, you are not afraid of doing anything. Maybe you are afraid, but you still do it. But I think great piece of advice would be that to just be yourself, and just, as cliche as it may sound, but you just have to be yourself and just try it, at least try. I mean, you may not succeed, but then you will know for sure what it felt like, or what it was like to do something that it brought you out of your comfort zone. I think it would just be like, go for it. I mean, just do it, because otherwise you're not gonna know what the future may reserve for you if you don't just believe in yourself, right? And I know that sounds cliche, and everybody kind of says that, but it is true.
But it's also, I think, a big lesson to learn.
Hmm.
How many people don't truly believe in themselves?
Actually, a lot of people don't believe in themselves,
So
right?
it's not so cliche-ish, is it?
Yeah, yeah, it's not.
All right, Ezi, how do you define success?
I don't know.
Oh, sure you do.
Whenever, I mean, I I don't think I have my life figured out. There are a lot of things that I would want to change, and I know that eventually that would happen, right? But you have to take action and do stuff. I'm not there yet, but I will get there eventually, I guess. But I define success as, I mean, as being able to achieve whatever you want in life. I don't know. I mean, I think in a few ways I'm very successful. I was able to do a lot of stuff that I never knew that I wanted, because people believed in me. And I think that's it. I mean, just being able to achieve whatever you want and just working towards your dreams. And it may, I mean, you may not get there whenever you, how can I say, I mean, you may not think that you are successful because you didn't get where you want to be, but I think you are, right? I mean, just believing in yourself and just going for it, and just taking into account whatever that you did, whatever you did. If it was something that you really wanted, then you are successful to me, right? But I don't think that we reach a point where we are successful and that's it. I mean, we are every day working towards something else. I mean, I think that success should not be defined as something. You are not successful because you have a house or because you have a job. I mean, obviously that's part of success, right? You got somewhere with your hard work, but I think you will get successful when your life is pretty much over, and then you look back and you see everything that you have achieved. So to me, that's it. I don't know if I made sense, but that's how I would put it.
So what I heard is success is an inside job, namely in here, in your heart. So
Yeah.
how you feel rather than what you've accumulated.
Yes, but I know that a lot of people um, see success as stuff, as things, as possessions. Like, for instance, I was talking to Diego before we started here, and I was really, I was really confused, or yeah, I didn't know what success was for me. But then talking to you, and I just said what I said. But we have different views. For instance, for him, if he gets the job that provides whatever that he wants, then that's his definition of success. So it varies from people to people, and I do think that having how can I say, being able to buy my own apartment is a way to measure my success. I have what I have because of hard work, and obviously I feel successful. But I do think that success is more, how you said it, like an inside job, like how you feel inside you. I do think that.
Awesome. I know that you and Diego love to travel.
Yeah,
We love to
we do.
travel with you. So what is the best vacation that you've taken so far?
I mean, I don't think that being 1 year in Wausau or like in the United States is a vacation, because I did have stuff to do, right? But I did travel quite a bit when I was there. Well, one of the greatest vacations I had was back in 2017, that I did go to New York for a week, and then I went to London and Paris for another week. So I was 4 days in London and 3 days in Paris. So that vacation was awesome. It was one of the best, because it was, even though I got sick. I actually get sick in every vacation that I take. I don't know why. I don't know what happens to me. I even have a rule that I don't even tell people that I'm gonna travel, because people usually just want to live your life sometimes. So I don't want that. So I usually wait a bit whenever I'm on vacation, and then I announce that I'm on vacation. But if I ever do something different, right? Whenever I Even being sick during the trip was awesome. I mean, we got to do so much stuff, and then actually Diego proposed it to me during that vacation, so it was very special. It was also very special. So that was one of the best vacations. But like in US alone, if I would say, I loved going to Orlando and going to Disney World. I don't know why. I mean, maybe I have a soul of a little kid, but it was just magical to be there.
It is the
It was
Magic
great.
Kingdom.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So since we're on vacations, what is
Mhm.
your dream vacation?
Mm. Okay, so my dream vacation would actually to go to the Maldives. Have you seen that water? I just want to go there so badly. I know that I will eventually. I mean, maybe in a few years, but it's to go there, or maybe Bali in Indonesia or something like that. I would never say like a beach destination, but it is beautiful. So I think that would be my dream vacation.
Ooh.
Mhm.
So what are the biggest differences that you noticed between Brazil and living in Brazil and then
Mhm.
living in the United States?
Okay. So first off, obviously, is the language, right? If you don't know anything about it, then it's gonna be very challenging. But I did find that Americans are very, how can I say, you guys are very patient, and then you really respect foreigners. At least everyone that I had the pleasure to encounter, you are very helpful, and you do not make fun of us because we speak in a different way or in a funny way. But it would be the language, the weather, and also the food. I mean, that's the three biggest differences just by living in Brazil and then going to the United States. And then after living in US for a bit, then I would say that the biggest difference would be just the way we live life. Here in Brazil, we usually, I know that I was there and I just studied and I traveled a bit, and then I got to meet a lot of people, and maybe that's not like a lot of stuff. I mean, it was great, but I mean, I did not have to work. I did not have to do some like pretty responsible things, right? I was just studying and having a good time. But like the biggest difference is that you guys are very, actually, let me start with here. Here in Brazil, we do not have a lot of things. I mean, we do have to work hard to get stuff, and I'm not saying that you guys have everything that you need handed to you guys. Obviously, you have to work hard to get it, and I know that you are where you are because you work it together. But here in Brazil, it's just so hard to get stuff. And then when you travel and you get to a place where things just work, where there are laws and people respect each other, and then you kind of realize how crazy the place that you work, that you came from is, I remember that when I had to come back to Brazil, I arrived, and then my mom met me in the airport, and then my brother and sister, and then I went back home, and then we had a celebration because all my family was there. So we ate some barbecue, some chocolate cake, and then everybody went to their places, and I went to take a shower, and I just remember crying so much in the shower, and I did not know what was coming from the shower and what was coming from my eyes, because I was crying so hard, because a few hours were enough for me to see how different those two places were. Obviously, I was missing you guys. I was missing being in the US, but it is different, when when you I don't know how to explain, but like if you came here, but you only had an experience of like a few days. If you live here and you see what you see every day, the way that it works, or actually doesn't work, but the way that things is, it hits you hard, being away from a place where things work, where you feel safe. I felt very safe in the US, even if I was alone, even if I did not have like family or friends, and I do not make friends easily. I usually don't. I'm usually the one that stays alone in the back of the room, just waiting for someone to come and rescue me. So I do not have a lot of friends, but like I just missed that freedom, to just be myself. And I cannot be myself. I don't know why, what it is about Brazil, but it just didn't capture my heart. And I'm from here, so that's the biggest difference.
Well, and I know that was one of Diego's comments as well, in terms of
Mhm.
stuff in the US just works.
Mhm.
And like when Dwight came down to visit you guys and you took him to the monastery, and there was a big
Mhm.
gaping hole in the middle of the road, and somebody waving people by so that they didn't fall into this hole,
Uh-huh.
and that it had been there for a long period of time.
Uh-huh.
You guys told him, that's just the way it is. No big deal.
Yeah, it is. Actually today in the news, sometimes we watch the news during lunch, and they were talking about a bridge here in Brazil that connects Porto Alegre to another city, and that bridge was under construction for 6 years. So it took them 6 years to make a bridge. Obviously, I don't know what it goes into making a bridge. I'm not an engineer, but it doesn't have to be like 6 years. I would understand a year, but not six. So
Especially if they can build year round, they can work on it year round.
yeah, they can.
Because even your
But I mean,
winter, you guys don't get snow, you don't get
no.
ice. It's cold,
Mm-mm.
but
Yeah,
you can keep working outside, right?
yeah, right. I mean, we have a kind of rainy winter here in Porto Alegre, but that shouldn't be like an excuse for them to not work during the winter, right?
I wouldn't think so. Okay, so 2020 is coming to a close,
Hmm.
and we've kind of talked about it throughout the year when we've connected
Hmm.
and chatted. Tell me about how Brazil has been during the pandemic, and what kind of freedom or lockdowns you guys have experienced.
Okay, so we did have like, I think was maybe a month lockdown in the beginning, like right on March, I guess. I don't even know when it started, but it was just like a whole month, I think, or maybe 2 months. People were not locked down, but like they were advising people to not go out, and they closed everything, like restaurants, shopping malls, stores. anything other than like drugstores and supermarkets, right? And hospitals. So it was obviously sucked to just be at home. But at that point, I was at home because of maternity leave, so I was not leaving my house that often. So to me, it was not like a big deal. I knew that it was just what it was supposed to happen, but we did not expect it to last like the whole year, right? So I think everybody here in Brazil was just like, okay, it's a month or two, everything's gonna be just fine. They will find a cure for it. But then everybody was, not everybody, but like most business were shutting down because they were not able to keep up, right? So then I think a few months later they started reopening, and people, they are very divided between, how can I say, I don't want to get political, but maybe like the left side they wanted to keep shut down, and everybody else is just like, let's just live life and do stuff, because otherwise people will run out of their businesses or get fired or not be able to just live, a decent life. It is already difficult here in Brazil to have like perspective and to live a good life. So if you're not allowed to work, then it just gets that much difficult, right? But I mean, you do what you gotta do, and then you find a way to make it work. And right now, I do feel that people are they are more free, but we do not have the freedom to just, like, for instance, not wear a mask or stuff. You still have to go to follow these rules, which in perspective is ironic because all the other rules in Brazil are pretty much broken every day. So right now we got to lost this freedom, which sucks. But it is what it is. We don't have like, or maybe we could have it different, but we are just complying with what's being said, and that's it.
Well,
Mhm.
what is one thing that you learned during this entire social experiment with the lockdown? So
Mhm.
say since March of 2020 until today, what's
Mhm.
one big lesson that you learned?
I'm thankful that I did not lose anybody. I mean, I don't even know. Actually, my sister got COVID, but she's fine now. And then I think my friend's sister, she also got it, but I did not lose anybody. But the thing that I think I'm most thankful for, and I got to learn during this year, and I know that every year we should be grateful and um, just love everybody, and be close to everybody. Obviously we should do that, but I mean, as time goes by, usually we do not find time to be with the ones that we love. But one thing that I did take from the pandemic would be to just cherish the ones that are close to you. I know that not a lot of people um, think that this is a big deal, but I mean, it's not that big deal. I mean, we get sickness every year, get illnesses, and we just survive. And people who have died, maybe they would have died eventually, if not from COVID, then from something else. Like, for instance, Diego is one to believe that everybody who who died this year would have died either way. I don't know if I believe that, but I do think that we have to cherish everybody and just be thankful that we are still here and that we get to live.
What's one thing that you would change about today's society if you could?
Um, I think being here in Brazil, one thing that I would definitely change would be the way things happen. For instance, like laws. For instance, here in Brazil, we have lots of laws, but they are just not met. They are just not. they are like they are a requirement, but people don't think that they would apply to everybody. So here in Brazil, that would be something that would change. I mean, to just be more equal. I mean, it's just so hard to live in a life where there are people who get to do whatever they want, and then there are people who cannot do the same. So I would change that. Uh, I usually don't think about myself much, but I do think about everybody else. So that would be my answer. I mean, just a fair world, where everybody gets to do the same, and that's it.
I think that's a pretty good one because I think that applies everywhere, that
Mm-hmm.
everybody should be treated the
Equally,
same.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So one final question for you, Ezi.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to 2021,
Mm-hmm.
what is, well, I got a couple of questions, but looking forward to 2021,
Mm-hmm.
what is one goal that you have to see if you can make it happen next year?
Um, right now, like my son is just one, right? He's gonna be 14 months old in a few days. But one thing that I'm looking forward to 2021 is just to show him stuff, show him the world, and travel a bit. I mean, I don't know if that sounds vain, but that's pretty much my goal for 2021 is just to survive and just to travel a bit and see friends. If I can go to the US and to see you guys and to get to experience the American life just for a few days again, and to just be places that I haven't been. That would be my main goal for 2021.
And looking back to, let's say, your 19-year-old self,
Hmm.
what is one piece of advice you would give 19-year-old Ezi, knowing what you know today?
I think would be to get help, to get help. How can I say regarding anxiety? Because right now I'm pretty much the same person that I was when I was 19 years old. I'm just older, but I think I was too afraid, of everything. I mean, I was afraid of not being able to go places or to not being accepted for who I was or whatever. I was just afraid of everything. So one piece of advice I would give myself was to just enjoy more, and just don't care about people who doesn't care about me, because usually we just get caught up wanting people to love us. This is something that I struggle every day still. So I mean, I should take my advice into consideration, right? But it is just hard because we do not have to expect people to like us. We were talking about before we started here, and I did say not everybody's gonna love us, but in reality, I do think that, I do believe that, but I still seek people's approval. So one thing that I would definitely tell myself would be to just live my life and don't look for approval, I guess. Not that I would do anything wrong, no. But I mean, just do it, not caring about what people would think. That was it.
Ezi, what
Hmm.
other people think of us truly is none of our business.
Yeah. Hmm.
And that's one of those things that I try to live by.
Hmm.
And I think that's kind of what I was hearing you say in terms of
Hmm.
not worrying about what other people are saying or thinking about you. And I
Uh-huh.
think that is an awesome, awesome piece of advice that you
Uh-huh.
should implement.
Yeah, I definitely should. But it is so hard. I mean, sometimes like there are days when I feel more confident and I know that I'm doing stuff right. But then I don't know. It's just maybe you get like one one different look from someone, or someone says stuff about, like, even someone else that you are not confident enough, then you get to see that thing that people say, and then you just kind of look back into your life and you see that they are kind of right about you also. It's just so hard. I mean, every day is a struggle.
But those are all opportunities for you to decide that I'm going to put a different meaning with that comment, or I'm going to put a different meaning with that look, and play a game with yourself to get out of your head and out of your way, to enforce that whatever they're thinking or saying about me is none of my business, because I get to decide what they're thinking about me, and I can put it in a positive or a negative, and I choose to put it in a positive.
Yeah.
And it's hard to begin with, but when you make it a game and you make it fun, the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah, it's all about consistency. Actually, everything in life is all about consistency, right?
It is. And the only thing that really matters is that we love you.
Oh, I love you too.
See?
I mean, getting to live in US was awesome, but truly, I mean, being able to be in your family dynamic, it was just amazing. I mean, you guys are awesome. You should be very, very proud. But you know, that's the beauty of it. I mean, you do not have to be like perfect. Actually, nobody's perfect, right?
No.
We are just perfect in our own way. So, I mean, even if you are weird, I am weird. I mean, I think that's a perfect match. So that's fine.
We are imperfectly perfect.
Yeah.
And it works.
And yes, it does. But like back in 2009, before we met, I actually had a different mentor family, right? I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember.
And I was so frustrated because I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but we were not able to connect, to click. So I just remember going to Tatiana Schneider, the coordinator in NCC, and I just cried to her, man, you have to find me someone else. I mean, I do want to have this experience, right? Because everybody else has their perfect mentor families, and why should I just be stuck with someone that doesn't want to be part of this experience with me? And then she said, but I do have a perfect family for you. Let me just try to see if they want to. And then you guys happen, and I'm so thankful that it turned out the way that it did, because I don't know, we just connected, right? We just clicked. Even if I was a little shy in the beginning.
Not you, Ezi. You were afraid to talk.
Yeah, I was.
And then you worked.
Yeah, I did.
It was a whole different story.
Yes, it was.
So it's been awesome and quite a journey. And I certainly appreciate your time, and knowing that I'm sure Theo and Diego are both sound asleep by now.
Yes, they are.
And I'm looking forward to watching your experience, and thank you for sharing your insight and your thoughts with our listeners and the Woman Warrior Lawyer podcast, because you truly are a warrior in your own way, and you always have been.
Oh, thank you. You are so sweet. I mean, I am who I am today because of everything that had happened to me, obviously, but also because of the people that are in my life. You were in my life, and you still is in my life, even if we do not get to talk every single week. But the beauty of it is that whenever we do talk, I mean, I just see that nothing's changed, And I do love you, and thank you for having me. And that's it. I mean, I do miss you guys, and I hope to see you guys so soon.
Absolutely. We want to meet our grandbaby.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ezi, and we will stop recording now so you and I can.
Okay.
Bye.